Today, I want to talk about what we students hear about exams and expectations. And no, I'm not going to bore you with the flaws of the education system or exam stress. Because the personal experiences that we have every single day are so much more nuanced than those big picture ideas. And I actually want to start with something that you hear every day, but you might not have found it particularly problematic. And that is that marks don't matter. They do. Look, I know whoever told you that marks don't matter, it's coming from a very good place. But saying that has never helped anyone feel better. You tell me, every time you walk into school, into a room full of geniuses every day, how do they expect you to believe that marks don't matter? Or when you see big fat resumes and trophies and awards and medals and certificates, or when toppers' faces are plastered on every single wall, or when toppers are the protagonists of every success story that you've ever heard, or when people treat you differently just because of a bad grade. We can't believe that marks don't matter because the world we live in does not allow us to believe that. Those marks decide which universities we'll go to study at, which companies we'll work at, how much money we earn, and how much respect we get from society. So no, marks mean everything to us, and we can't believe that they don't matter. And other thing that we don't like to hear is that we need to work harder next time. Like, darling, what else do you think we're trying to do? Do they know how difficult it is, how draining it is for us to fall again and again and again, and then wake up every day and tell ourselves that we can do this, that we can ace the next exam? I know sometimes it might seem like we don't care about academics, but honestly, deep down inside, it's really the only most important thing that we care about. Seriously. I think students are the only demographic or the only group of people who don't need to do those find your life purpose activities because we know very well what it is. And the third thing that we don't like hearing is, you're not studying. Raise your hand if you think this is the worst thing that you've ever heard. Yeah, so many hands. And that's because sometimes it's not that you're not studying, it's just that sometimes you're sick, sometimes you didn't sleep well, sometimes you completely blank out during an examination, sometimes you're obsessing about a mean comment or about your social circle, but that does not mean that you didn't study. So what am I trying to get to here, and why am I talking about this in the first place? A year ago, when I got my 10th grade board exam results, I was in a very bad place. I got a 94.6, and trust me, that's not bad, and I'm not unhappy about it, okay? But I think seeing a lot of people get a 97 or a 98, that was what actually crushed me. Now, don't tell me that's not a big deal. I'm pretty sure all the kids in the audience know what I'm talking about. And especially when you're the favorite child, it's so difficult to let your parents down, right? And if my brothers are watching this, you should know that that's the truth. I'm just the favorite child, you deal with it. But I know that crying about a 94.6 is not a big deal. But I'm pretty sure all of you can relate to everyone around you just having way too big expectations on you. You start thinking about what they think about you, even though they're thinking much less about you than you think they do, and they're definitely not thinking about what you think, about what they think. And as you can see, that's a lot of thinking, so you should just stop overthinking it. Because overthinking took me to a very bad place. 11th grade was so hard. I was blaming my loneliness on my academic performance, and I felt like I was no longer a part of the smart kids group anymore. And that was because my marks were things that I had worked hard for. It was my pride, and it was my free pass to getting whatever I wanted. And that's why I soon hit rock bottom. I remember I was crying on the floor, and I was smashing the pillows on the walls, and there were several times a week when I thought of taking my own life as well. And I remember I threw pencils onto the ceiling until the nibs broke off. And I know you're judging me for breaking pencils, but there are people who destroy literal furniture when they get upset. And I would get kicked out of the house if I did that. So I'll stick to my pencils, no thank you. So every time we work hard to build ourselves back up, we tell ourselves again and again, we're 110%, we're not a 74, we're not a 64 or a 34. It's the comments like the one that I talked about earlier that break us down to square one. And then we just ask ourselves, why me? What did I do to deserve this? I've been such a good son or a good daughter. I've been a good student to my teachers. I've been a good person to all the people I know except my annoying aunt. So why me, and what did I do to deserve this? You feel like a liability, a shame, a waste, a disgrace. Because only intelligent people deserve to live. Only intelligent people deserve love. Only intelligent people deserve respect. No offense to the people who are building rockets and curing cancer. They're doing a great job. But you feel like regardless of the number of sleepless nights you spend studying till 4 a.m., there's no point. You're not going to get what you want. And that is absolutely the worst feeling ever. You might have expected to hear something more along the lines of, I achieved great things, nothing is impossible for you, everything is just out there, you know? But I don't want to tell you that. Because everyone tries to normalize the suffering that accompanies hard work. But suffering is never normal. In fact, I don't think you want to hear that in the first place. What you need to hear, and what you usually don't hear, is that I see you, I hear you, and I feel you. Because I know that you spend sleepless nights studying till 4 a.m. I know that you power through every single day like a total boss, giving 110% at everything it is that you do, despite all the challenges that nobody cares about or talks about. And I know that when you felt like the world was ending, you were hurting all by yourself. And for that, you're so strong. And I think you deserve an applause for that. If you ever feel like you were struggling by yourself, just know that you're not alone. You shouldn't have to do this alone. Talk to someone you love, someone you trust, or even seek professional help if necessary. For me, that was my mom and a whole support system at school, including the principal, our vice principals, so many teachers, so many friends, and so many parents as well. They made me feel like a topper even though I wasn't one. You can also write about your feelings. I did that quite a lot to externalize them and get them out. And also, hold on to your faith. Never let it go, because I know sometimes we give up on ourselves, but God never gives up on you. And lastly, I think the simplest yet most effective solution that you have at your hand is to constantly evaluate yourself, see what's going wrong with your academic performance, and work on it. It takes time, but you will surely get there. So fast forward to today, I still perform way below my expectations. I tell life, I want 100, but life gives me an 88. And I tell life, I can't make lemonade with that. Get it? That first experience that I had has grown on me like a second thicker skin. So every time it hurts just a little less. And here I am. And there are so many things to be grateful for in life, you know? Like, for example, I'm the youngest and also the first high school student speaker to speak at TEDxYouth at DPSMIS, which is kind of a big deal. You really didn't have to, like, please. So here's what you should take away from this. All of our problems can just go away if we were just kinder to each other, you know? If we just had more realistic expectations. If we were better teachers and better parents and better friends to each other. Now, that's just a nice way of saying nobody should be able to play with your life with their expectations. We don't need them, so you can keep them. Thank you very much for being such a kind audience. Thank you.